What's up, everybody? You're listening to Bad versus Evil, the rule of not two today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Far too kind. Far too kind. And as always, I am joined by Rhodes Rants on Star Wars. What's going on, Rhodes?
I'm back. Rhodes Rants on John Matrixx channel. How you doing, John?
Doing well. Doing well. It's a
I'm trying
Friday
to
evening.
get the animals on the ark today. It's rained so much here. So
Yeah. Storming.
it's nuts. Oh, yeah, we've got 3 or 4 more lines of storms coming right now.
Yeah, it was pretty foggy over here today.
I think my stepdaughter lives in Baytown, so I think she said y'all's rain is coming later tonight.
Oh, that's great. I'll be up all night because of my dog. Oh, we got 8 people watching right now.
Lord Callis is in the chat.
Yeah, I see Lord Callis in the chat.
And you might want to give him a heads up. You sent him.
Yeah, I sent you the link, Lord Callis. I don't know if you got it or not, but I did send you the link. So check your Hangouts because I sent you the link so you can join in. Lord Callis is going to be the special guest. And
we hope.
Yeah, we hope so.
We hope so.
Yeah, because we don't want to be the bane of bad jokes, you know. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, he said, "Let me double check."
I just see you over there with like this board that you're just dying to pick out a new sound every week.
Yep. I only got 4 sounds because actually the sounds that came with it, I end up deleting them all. And I called Rode, and Rode told me once they're gone, they're gone. But the good thing is you can download your own sounds and everything. So I can actually have 8 sounds downloaded. I have 4 right now till I find some other stuff. So that's another one.
And we have 8 people watching.
Yeah, well, I don't know what YouTube is doing because it's not refreshing on my end.
9.
So I'm having to refresh to see. I see we have 9 people watching now. Come on, YouTube, get it together. It's supposed to be updating in real time like it used to, but it's been very, very strange on YouTube today. You know, my video has all of these views, very few comments. So that's just strange.
10 watching.
But,
10.
Yes. I'm still showing 9.
The password is 10.
Oh, that's good. Hopefully we can get over 20. It's been a while since we've gotten over 20.
We held 18 for like over an hour last week, I know.
Yeah, I think for the most part, that's about average for us. It's about 18 people or so.
I think people are already getting tired of our small talk.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I see Lord Callis has a link. He'll be joining us here shortly. So, what a week. Yeah. We have to talk about this Rose Tico thing.
Oh.
This Rose Tico TV show.
Oh.
I mean, are they really serious about making this? And we'll get to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, that makes sense. But yeah. Rose Tico, Captain Phasma. I didn't do a video on Phasma. Rose, just go ahead. Just take. I don't mind that one.
Now the one that's really interesting is Darth Bane.
You know, I heard about that too.
Yeah, that's the one that's got floated out there. The feeling was that essentially, you know, everybody was in a pitch meeting and they were just throwing things against the wall to see what would stick.
Yeah.
And I think Lord Callis was in the process of joining, it looks like.
I am indeed, and I don't know what's going on with the video. How did you get your
there's a little like drop down at the top, and it has a little picture of a camera.
You can turn it off.
If you just hit that, it'll turn it off and just show your avatar. D. Carey, welcome. Good to see you. Hi,
Yeah,
all
he says,
driving.
hi, driving but listening. So I guess we have. See, my info's not refreshing unless I refresh the thing.
we've
We have
got
10 watching.
We've got 10
Guys,
in.
yeah, if you're watching, please drop your name in the chat. Let us know that you're
Yeah.
here and we're here.
Yep.
So,
And if you got a channel, let us shout you out.
yep, James Clark is here.
Yep.
Welcome. But we were just about to start talking about this Rose Tico TV show.
There you go, Lord. You got it.
Yeah. So if anybody knows me, I'm pretty sure Rhodes feels the same way. Lord, we have to ask Lord Callis about this, but Rose Tico show is a horrible idea. Just a horrible idea. I want to know what executive actually thought of that, because he needs to be fired immediately for even bringing that up. Now, honestly, I don't think this is going to happen, because I think if that Rose Tico show gets greenlighted, the Rian Johnson trilogy will happen then, because this is a character that Rian Johnson created. So by creating a Rose Tico TV show, you are endorsing Rian Johnson. What do you guys think?
I give it about a 3% chance of ever happening.
Yeah, me too.
I think
I don't even think it's real. I think they'd spend a lot of time. This is just my whole, conspiracy theories, but I just think that they're trolling us. I think somebody sits in a room and says, how can we get these guys all riled up this month? And they come up with something, and then they throw it out there, and it gets everybody going, and then nothing ever comes of it.
Yeah, they could just be testing the waters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
But Rose Tico is something you should never have to test the waters with.
Waters successfully tested, okay? It didn't pass.
I mean, honestly, if they were going to make something, I would much rather them make a Ports TV show for kids. I can actually get on board with that, because, Ports, kind of like Ewoks,
right.
Not a big deal. I didn't mind the Ports in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was far from the worst thing in the movie. I could put,
And the Ports actually felt like they felt like Star Wars aliens to me.
Right.
They didn't have a significant role or anything like that, but man.
D. Carey says Darth Bane, Obi-Wan, and the Mandalorian. So that's kind of where people are at, I think.
Yeah.
Universally, I think that's something everybody could kind of get behind,
Yes, definitely. And it's interesting that the Darth Bane thing has come out, because, I've been kind of critical of them because they seem to really be getting away from the Force, the Jedi. The Darth Bane thing seems like it could be really, really amazing. I wouldn't mind seeing a Darth Maul TV show as well. Like when he was actually being a gangster in the Outer Rim, they could do something and really expand on that too. But I don't think they will. But Darth Bane, definitely on board. Obi-Wan Kenobi, that should be the number one thing right now. I mean, if it was me, granted, let's say if they were just now starting episode 9 and they had Obi-Wan the Mandalorian, I would just do Obi-Wan Kenobi first, easily. Episode 9 would be second. Push that to the side.
I think that was the way it was supposed to go when they set up the timeline, right? Initially, it was supposed to be one of the ones that fell in the off, kind of like Rogue One, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to hit after Solo, but before?
Yeah, it was a real thing. It was in development. They were going to do the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. They were going to do a bounty hunter show. They also had some kind of Mos Eisley movie or something like that, and a bounty hunter movie instead of a Boba Fett movie. Maybe the Boba Fett movie was happening, but there was supposed to be like a bounty hunter movie or something like that. But Solo, when Solo bombed, they took a look in the mirror and just said, "Oh, people don't like this stuff." No, we do like this stuff, but you guys are choosing the wrong stuff.
We just want the right stuff, okay?
Right.
It's got nothing and it's also got nothing to do with volume. It's got to do with the project, right?
Dude, I would take a great Star Wars movie every 6 months.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. just because George released Star Wars movies every 3 years, then he took like a forever break and then brought him back again. But remember, that was George was one guy doing everything by himself. You know,
Right.
plus he ruled Lucasfilm with an iron fist. Everything stopped with him. It's different now because you have so many different people involved with Star Wars. Plus, you have the backing of Disney. So it's not one person doing this. Now, if George was still in charge of everything, there's no way he can put out all of the volume of stuff they're coming out with. Because George wrote the stories for every single thing. You know?
West the Remote is in the house.
What's up, West the Remote?
He said YouTube did not notify him, by the way.
Ah, that explains a lot of things now.
Yep. D. Carey says the EU book, Strong Women Adversity. Sign me up.
I love the EU books. If I would show the shelf behind me right now, I mean, it's full of them. So I'm that's a fan of the lore. I love Star Wars lore. So there's so much that they can dig into and come up with some great films. I don't understand why they keep pushing the BS. I don't understand.
Yeah. See, I don't know the books. I haven't read any of the EU books. I just know some of the stories. There's so many books, you know. I would have to.
I know.
I would have to start 20 years ago.
Harloff was saying yesterday that if they do this Darth Bane thing, they need to bring in the guy that wrote the books, because he said the books were like fantastic.
Listen. Those books were ridiculous. All three of them. I mean, if you need to read a Star Wars book, you need to go and read all three of the Bane series. I mean, from book one, where, I mean, there's just so much lore there. And book one to show where he started as, they can even dig even before that to show us what his father was like, because his father was an SOB. And that's the reason why he was the way that he was. He named himself Bane, his Sith name Bane, because his father used to say to him that he was the bane of his existence. So when he shed himself of his past, that was why he called himself Bane. You know, he used that pain to further his power in the dark side. I mean, there's so much there. It's ridiculous. And even if you even want to move into, I know I could start geeking out, but if you move into Darth Xana beyond that, and you'll see in the first book how he destroyed the other Sith. You'll see how he learned from Darth Revan about the rule of two. He sort of took Revan's idea and made the rule of two from that. The one, you know, the person that embodies the power, and the second to crave it. And that's where that came from. So if they want to go back and dig that up, they can make some incredible movies. And even onto the Jedi that are in that book, to see those different Jedi, the force powers that they had, it would have been crazy. And to see so many Sith, so many different red lightsabers on the screen at the same time. Come on, Disney.
That would be amazing. But you know that they're not going to do that. You know, I'm pretty sure the book's already decanonized anyway. Yeah. And they're going to, you know, if they do it, it's going to be something fresh. But I really do think that they need to get George to come in and write the story for this. They need George's input now. I mean, it's gotten to that point to where they have to realize they have done a disservice to this franchise, and they have disrespected the creator himself. They need his stories. They need his mind. He's just so missed from Star Wars right now, and I don't think it'll ever be the same. Now, I've heard rumors, you know, that George has helped out a little bit with Episode 9, but that source was Mike Zero, so I'm not really sure about that. But we all know that George visits the sets and everything of all the movies. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's safe to say George probably put his 2 cents in on something like The Mandalorian, because he's got a relationship with Favreau and Filoni. I know he's got a relationship with JJ, but I don't know what that relationship is.
He said he co-signed He's co-signed Force Awakens.
Yeah.
JJ said, yeah.
I wouldn't trust that because you know what George said about The Force Awakens. He wasn't a fan of it.
He said it'd be what we like. He said the Star Wars fans will definitely get what they want.
I remember they asked him on the interview. They asked him, "So George, how do you feel about this movie?" His response was, "Well, the fans are going to love it," which means he didn't love it. And I agree with George. I did not love The Force Awakens. You know, it's not. The Force Awakens is not aging very well at all. I mean, I know Rose likes The Force Awakens.
I like it too. I like it too. I saw it 7 times.
Is it aging well with you guys?
Yeah.
It makes me somewhat sad when I watch it now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, wow, God, JJ set up all of this awesome stuff.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie.
I just think about the movie coming. I think about the. In fact, Disney premiered it on ABC last Sunday night, and I just watched about, I don't know, 30 minutes of it, sort of. I got stuck on the channel and just let it go. Right as they were, trying to get off of Jakku and they're running for the ship, and all of a sudden they turn around. They're like, "Oh, that's garbage." Well, the garbage will do. And then the Falcon and the theme comes on, and I'm like, this is Star Wars to me,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then my thought was, God, I can't wait to see what's never mind. I mean, it does suck. I've said before, for the people that like that movie a great deal, God, The Last Jedi just broke it off in us.
Exactly.
I mean, it was like, I could not have been. I went into that movie thinking, oh, this is like the second coming of something just monumental. And yeah, it was monumental, but in the wrong direction.
Right.
I
would say this.
Wes the Remote says he loves The Force Awakens as well.
Okay, I guess I'm in the minority here.
The only thing that I didn't like.
Tomato score.
What's that?
I said the only thing that I didn't like, or the only thing when I left The Force Awakens, and like I said, I actually saw that one 7 times in the theater. The only thing that had me like scratching my head was her being Rey beating Kylo at the end. I was kind of like, I don't know. But I sort of justified that, thinking that The Force Awakens would reveal that this was Luke's daughter, and she was calling on previous training. So that allowed me to be okay with her beating Kylo at the end, because otherwise there was no reason that she should have been able to beat him. And then when you go into The Last Jedi and you see that he just subverts our expectations throughout the entire movie, then it's kind of like, well, then how was that possible then? But that was the only thing about The Force Awakens that sort of made me scratch my head.
That's really my flaw with the movie is some of Rey's unexplained. I mean, I can kind of, I've seen people say, well, I got a problem with the fact that she knew how to work on the Falcon, and I'm like, if she's been out there, part picking for the last 10 years on Jakku, she probably knows her way around a ship, equipment wise. So to me, that's not a big stretch. But yeah, I mean, her, battling Kylo, and I get Kylo was wounded, and that sort of took a little of the edge off. But I'm like, Lord, I thought we were going to get some sort of an explanation in the following movie. Everything else about the movie, like I thought Poe and Finn, I went into that movie and I had told my wife, the big problem they're going to have for me is going to be selling me on new characters. And they gave me 3 likable new characters. And then the second movie came out and they did nothing with them. I mean, nothing. They literally took a step. They handed us new characters that I liked, and they literally brought them back 10 steps. I mean, it was unreal. Never mind Poe and Finn. They're useless now. I mean, they are literally useless. They had no progression in story. Think about that. Out of only three possible movies, their characters got no progression whatsoever. That's insane.
Well, see,
none.
You guys know that I don't like The Force Awakens, but it was okay until Rey found out she had Force powers. Then it just went downhill from there because she was doing all this stuff without any training, no Jedi Master. And that was just Disney saying, okay, the Jedi Masters, you don't need them. Forget what George ever told you about the Force. And that's what I really didn't like about that movie. And we all know The Last Jedi. We don't even need to get into that. We don't need to get into it.
The reason why that didn't disturb me, John, when I was watching it was because I was thinking that she was formerly one of Luke's students, if not his daughter. So that's why when she did that, and the way that they likened it to Obi-Wan and Episode 4, New Hope, they paralleled a lot of what she did with Episode 4. And so I wasn't upset by it because I was thinking we were going to get the reveal in The Last Jedi, so that would be the explanation. So this was the setup for it, and then they would reveal why she was able to do all of that, why she was able to call on that training, because she had already gone through it. Because when you read the novelization, Kylo's conversations with her were quite different. I mean, he recognized Rey. It wasn't just that she was some scavenger. He was like, he said point blank, this is what you've become. So we were to understand that he knew who Rey was. He didn't just discover her like it was sort of portrayed. He knew who she was. So between that novelization and the contradiction between the novelization and The Last Jedi, it's just disjointed. You know what I mean? It built up something and then it just completely let it down. And I don't see how they don't recognize that.
The dog is in the house.
Hey, what's going on, dog? We have 13 people watching right now. Smash the like button right now. Make sure you guys sub to Road Rants on Star Wars and Lord Callus.
Wes the Remote says he loves The Force Awakens. Rey should have lost her right arm.
Somebody needs to lose an arm in the next movie.
Can I get somebody to lose an appendage? I mean, really? We're overdue on the appendage law here.
But I don't think Disney is going to allow anybody to lose any limbs. That's not Disney-like.
Rey's going to have to look like Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
That'd be something,
up and charred.
Well, let me run this by you, Lord Callus. Do you believe there should actually be 2 more movies? Because it's my belief that there should be 2 more movies. Episode 9 and Episode 10.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to close this out. I wouldn't be mad at it. I'll say that. I wouldn't be angry at it, because it sort of put us in a position where I don't want to see them retcon what happened in The Last Jedi, because it's out there now. So for them to do that would just be in poor taste now. You have to say, okay, we effed up, own that, and build on that, and make that into something, something that is deserving of the lore. And I don't know if they can do that in just one movie. So yeah, I agree. I think that they should have an episode 10 to close out this saga.
Would you agree that if they were going to do an episode 10, we won't know it until we're sitting in the theater with 2 minutes left?
yeah. Or like you'll have to sit.
That's my belief.
You'll have to sit and wait till after the credits, kind of like Marvel does, right? And then they'll show you something.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Star Wars to have an end credit scene. I don't think it really fit as much as I love them in the Marvel movies. But
yeah, it seems like that's kind of become cliched at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys expect to happen? What do you expect to happen in the first scene of Star Wars Episode 9? Because I think the first 5 minutes is going to really have to sell people on this movie.
I think it's going to start with Rey instead of Kylo. You know how Kylo came out at the beginning of The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
I think this one actually starts with Rey.
Oh no.
And it wouldn't shock me if it's like Rey she is going on some kind of an expedition for answers. And we're going to find out something to do with her lore. Nobody knows what it is. Of course, you know, I've been rooting for some sort of a dark side switch to happen here, but I don't know that I'm going to get it.
I think definitely they can't go 30 minutes into the movie, then you show Luke. I think Luke needs to show up early and often to really engage people in this movie.
How do you think he's going to show up?
That's a good question. I'm thinking Luke is not going to be necessarily in this movie for Rey, but more for Kylo Ren. So I'm thinking he's going to be showing up in Force Ghost form with Kylo Ren more than Rey. I'm pretty sure he will show up with Rey. I think we're going to get an Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost scene as well in this movie. I think they're going to really pull out all of the stops of nostalgia to engage people in this movie. Because I think they have to. Because I think they have to realize now that the characters that George created, those are the popular characters. Those are the characters that people are interested in, and that we have done a poor job creating new characters. So I don't think Rey can sell a movie. I don't think Finn or Poe can sell a movie. Not even Kylo Ren. But Luke, he can sell a movie. Anakin Skywalker can sell a movie. Vader can sell a movie.
Why do you think Lando's coming back?
Exactly. I think that's the only reason.
In the seats like me, you know.
I did a video on that.
Back, yeah, you can count me in, okay?
I did a video on that. They need Lando Calrissian to sell tickets and put butts in seats, because one thing, they're not going to really show Luke, I think, in any of the marketing, because I think they're going to save him, make it kind of like this bit surprise for him. And there's no Han Solo. Carrie Fisher is deceased. Who else do you really have to sell tickets? Let's get Billy D. Williams as Lando. And I believe, Rhodes, you said the Lando is like in your top 12 Star Wars characters.
He's my third favorite character.
Third favorite. Okay. Somebody said top 12. Maybe it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that he's probably in my top 7. Oh, me too. I'm a bit Lando fan. How do you feel about Lando, Lord Callis?
I love him. I think he's top 10 for me, but you know, because I'm more Sith, more Jedi. But yeah, I love Lando.
Yeah, that's why I'm not as much of a Han Solo fan as Rhodes, because that's his favorite Star Wars character. Mine is Darth Sidious, because I'm into the Jedi Sith thing.
Yeah, my favorite is Luke.
I was sort of into the fast car pirate sort of thing that I got from Han. Han was sort of like the cool guy from the 50s driving the hot rod who just happened to be a pirate too at the same time, and I found that pretty damn intriguing.
But I think Han is probably the most relatable character, though. I mean, if you're growing up, you can be a Han Solo, a Luke Skywalker. Yeah. You can, that's magic. It's like growing up and I can't be Superman. I can't fly. I can be Han Solo, though. I can be, kind of shady, and be a smuggler.
Han's sort of a fuck up, so let's just say it.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, I mean, I can totally relate to that. Hey, Lord, so I know how John feels about this. Do you think Lando dies in this movie? Because I do not. I do not think.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to kill anyone in this movie. I think I was thinking that, you know, there is the possibility, since they're bringing Lando in, that maybe they'll do away with Chewie. But I don't think they're going to bring Lando in and then kill him. But honestly, I don't think they're going to kill anyone in this movie on the good side, if you will. I think that if anyone does die, it's Hux might die. I don't even know if they would kill off Kylo to complete this saga. I don't see them killing any of the Legends characters anymore, just because of everything that's happened. I think it'd be like too much of a sensitive.
I agree with that. I think it's a running joke now. You know,
well, if they're smart, they won't kill off anybody. But
I just don't think.
I have Lando and Chewie on the hit list. If somebody was to die, it's one of those two. They're on the hit list.
You see, the thing is, I expected for this saga to end with Luke dying in the third one.
Yes,
but
I was caught off guard in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, absolutely. And just who he was, I saw him being more, his arc being more of Yoda's arc, or even, you know, a blend of Yoda and Obi-Wan. I just did not see the way that they killed him off being the completion of his arc. I thought it was going to happen. I steeled myself for it happening in the third one. So when it happened, I was looking at it like, what the hell? I turned to my wife, what just happened? He just faded away. It was just, but anyway.
Yeah. And to me, some people think that he probably went out as like a hero. I still think he went out as a coward. He never faced Kylo Ren face to face. He was safe and sound on Octu. You know, his friends. He just bought them a few minutes to leave. I mean, I guess technically the First Order could have shot him down anyway, but Luke was safe and sound on Octu, but nobody can get to him. And then he just decided to become one with the Force, which made no sense in that scenario. You know?
Yeah. What do you mean, DK? What do you mean change the canon in our current understanding?
What if they change the canon again in our current understanding? I guess he's thinking, well, maybe what Lucas set up, if they come in and alter that in some way, which I kind of think they already have, and
they've already done that. Look at Galaxy of Adventures with Luke and Leia. It is atrocious, so disrespectful.
Yeah. So see, I'm not even so upset about about everything else. I liked Solo. I liked Rogue One. I liked The Force Awakens. The only one that is hard for me to accept is The Last Jedi. I'm not really upset about the current canon. I just did not like the way that they handled The Last Jedi, because it just completely was just a blatant disregard for everything that happened in The Force Awakens.
Well, yeah, but it's the way Luke ended. You know,
yes.
That was the big thing. I mean, as soon as he faded away, I thought, oh man, there's gonna be hell to pay. You know, I mean, you know, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. You know, I thought, number one, when they turned that camera on him and it kind of closed in, and he's sitting there, and I'm like, wow, he just pulled off some massive, like, you know, force projection, badass Grandmaster Jedi shit. And then it panned in on him with sort of looking at the sun. I'm like, wait a minute. He's not really about to die, is he? And then he died. Off, and I was like, I told John this a couple of weeks ago. There literally was a guy sitting in front of me that visibly threw his hands up in the air in the theater, like, what the fuck?
But you know what? That scene, when he disappeared, I was thinking, all right, that's the end. But then they made another garbage scene after that. What was that?
I got a call coming.
Oh, okay. All right. After Luke disappeared, then they put in that garbage scene with Broom Kid. Broom Kid ended the movie. It was so terrible the way they ended that movie. And then when the credits rolled, then you put in memory of Carrie Fisher. I'm like, my goodness, you're gonna honor Carrie Fisher with this garbage?
Well, they did make her Superman.
What's that?
I said, well, they did make her Superman. She flew back to the ship. God.
Oh, that's just cringeworthy, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure she probably voiced her opinion on this because Carrie Fisher is pretty outspoken. She's kind of direct in your face. She had to tell Rian Johnson, "Don't do this." I can't imagine her, or maybe he explained it to her in a certain way, but visually it was terrible.
That's the thing. You're absolutely right. Visually was the problem because and here I go, but I'm somebody that always falls back on novels. So for me, it wasn't out of the ordinary to see Leia use the Force because in the novels, she goes on to become a Jedi Knight. So it wasn't out of the ordinary to see her become or use the Force. You actually see her as the shots come in. She takes a breath, so you can see her. I think that was their nod to her visibly gathering her force, but it was the execution was the problem. I was fine with seeing her actually use the Force, but the way that she, just sort of glides through the air like Poppins, Yeah, that was the problem. That was the problem.
I don't understand how that actually, they get done with sort of like post-production and they take a look at that and go, yeah, that's going to fly. That's good. That's just fine. That's going to work. People will love this.
Because I actually thought, it looked terrible. I actually thought they were just going to leave her dead right there since Carrie Fisher. That would kind of explain why Carrie Fisher wouldn't be in episode 9. But no, when she's out there in space, first of all, if you flew out in space like that, you would freeze to death instantly almost. That's another story, though.
Yeah.
But maybe if they didn't have that long shot of her like floating to the ship and it was just more of a close-up, it would have looked better. But she really looked like Mary Poppins. All she needed was an umbrella.
It was completely the execution was like, oh my goodness, what is this?
Night Wolf says, I hate Solo because how do you leave your girlfriend behind for 3 years going to the Imperial military and letting them give Han his last name? I didn't love how he got his last name.
They could have cut that scene out.
I enjoyed the movie, but I did not like that. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that was one of the most terrible scenes in the movie. I mean,
yeah.
Why couldn't he just be Han Solo? Just Han Solo.
Exactly. Agreed. That didn't make any sense to me. Like,
what, guys? Laura Callis probably can answer this. I was thinking this earlier today. I was driving to my car, and this is off topic of the new movies, but please explain to me why Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he goes to Tatooine, he keeps the name Kenobi, like he was going to actually be in hiding. Luke figured it out pretty easily. I mean, he told Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. It's like I don't know any Obi-Wan. Perhaps he means old Ben. Old Ben lives beyond the Dune Seas.
How many Kenobis do you know?
Exactly. I mean, he figured it out. He figured it out relatively easy, even though he didn't technically know. I mean, why didn't he just change his name to like Ben Sulu or something? But he kept the name Kenobi.
Maybe in the Star Wars galaxy, Kenobi's like a Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll never find me hiding here. My name's Ben.
Well, I mean, it also
never
didn't really make
Kenobi,
Well, it really didn't make sense for Yoda to green light sending Luke back to Tatooine where Anakin grew up in the same.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
Well, they explained that it was hiding in plain sight was the reason.
Yeah, and chances are Vader probably didn't really want to combat there anyway, you know, because all the pain and suffering, memories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but Obi-Wan, let me just think of this. I'm gonna go by Ben Kenobi, and then Luke just instantly almost figures it out without actually figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, of course I know him.
I don't think George thought that one through, right?
Yeah. I haven't gone by the name of Obi-Wan since all before you were born.
B. Carey says because it could go the route of Highlander reimagining The Gathering and the pitiful movie The Source. I don't know what The Source is.
Yeah, aren't they remaking Highlander?
Oh God, are they really?
I thought so. I hope not, man. I love the first Highlander movie.
I heard something about it, but I thought it was going to be like a sequel.
Well, they already have the sequel. I mean, I love the first Highlander movie.
I actually like the second one a lot. that's actually my favorite, I think. The Quickening, I think it was called.
Yeah. I always thought Highlander felt a little bit kind of like Jedi and Sith in a way. To me, I don't know how you guys.
There can be only one.
Yeah. I guess in a way it's almost like the Sith killing off each other in a way. You know, gaining each other's powers and stuff like that.
Dog said he used an old Jedi name trick.
Yeah, maybe stormtroopers actually came to him and said, I think you're Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he swings his hand. I'm not Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're not Obi-Wan Kenobi. My name is Ben. Your name is Ben. Move along. Move along.
I'm not the Obi-Wan Kenobi you're looking for.
Because Vader actually, remember in Rebels, when Vader finds out that Ahsoka is still alive, he talks to Sidious, and he tells Sidious, you know, perhaps she can lead us to other Jedi, including Kenobi. So I think it's pretty obvious that Vader is still looking for Obi-Wan. So I guess he always figured that Vader had to know that Obi-Wan probably wouldn't be dead. That he was probably too smart, you know, to get killed off by clone troopers.
Right. Night Wolf says, yeah, Vader didn't want to go back because of the old memories of Anakin. Like we just talked about.
Yeah, but I believe in canon, no, he actually goes to Naboo. And he takes Padme's tomb, I think, back to Mustafar because he's trying to resurrect her. I think that's a new canon.
I think we're going to see Mustafar in episode 9.
I think so too. Now, what if Kylo Ren makes Mustafar the new headquarters of the First Order? Because you know he wants to be Vader. Vader's castle is there.
I don't know. I know it's something to do with either the Emperor or Vader or both was collecting items of the Sith and Sith lore, and Kylo is kind of taking up that fascination. It's one of the reasons why he supposedly has Vader's helmet.
Yeah, that was Sidious.
Yeah.
So, I don't get the whole idea about, you know, him, you know, tracking down Vader's helmet and little things I didn't like. Like really in The Force Awakens, I didn't like Vader's helmet coming back. I didn't like Anakin's lightsaber coming back. I mean, there was really no point in Anakin's lightsaber coming back into the story. I mean,
well, there was though, John. If she was supposed to be a Skywalker, I mean,
I don't think we actually looked at in the original trilogy when Luke had his hand chopped off and Anakin's lightsaber was lost. I don't really think we thought much about the lightsaber. You know, maybe because we cared so much about the character of Luke so much. And he was going to end up building his own lightsaber anyway to become a full Jedi Knight. and then it shows up in the Force Awakens. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
See, I like that.
After 30 years, it's just now showing up. You know,
well,
because originally it was supposed to be floating through space at the beginning of the Force Awakens, which sounds really, really stupid. I'm glad they cut that out.
Yeah.
So, but what were you going to say, Lord Callis?
The fact that Maz Kanata was, you know, how she put off explaining how she came about finding the lightsaber. I thought we were going to get that in The Last Jedi. Then the fact that, you know, Kylo was so hell-bent on getting the lightsaber when he first saw it, you know, when he saw it with Finn, and he's like, you know, that lightsaber, it belongs to me, right? Because he's a Solo, but he's got Skywalker blood. Yeah. And then when she stands there, and that part gave me chills. When she stands there and they're both calling for the saber, but it flies to her, that part gave me chills, because I'm like, okay, that it's going back to the Skywalker. It's going back to the Skywalker. It surpassed the Solo and went to the Skywalker. So that was my whole thought with that. I didn't hate it coming back, because I thought it was foreshadowing. That's why. And then, it's not.
And we were wrong. And we were wrong.
Yeah. Sebastian Nocturne says that the lightsaber that slaughtered younglings.
True.
Yes, it did. It slaughtered many younglings.
Yes, it did. Violently.
But I just thought that the Force Awakens made too much of a big deal of that lightsaber, because, you know, when you watch the original trilogy, even in the Revenge of the Sith, you didn't make that much big of a deal over the lightsaber. I think too much emphasis was focused on that lightsaber in the Force Awakens. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Then on the it was more on the lightsaber than the characters to me.
But I thought that was foreshadowing. That's why I liked it. I thought that was going to tell us, or that lightsaber had that much, held that importance. It was going to bring us into Rey's heritage. You know,
it could have been,
and
because
it still will. It's just going to be one movie late.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, because you know, Han said, "Where did you get that?" And she said, "The story for another time." Yeah, and I was thinking, all right, maybe we get an explanation in The Last Jedi. And of course, we didn't. You know, but I 100% guarantee we find out in Episode 9 how she got that lightsaber.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm wondering if Maz Kanata is going to have more than one crappy scene like she did. That was what was Rian Johnson thinking by having her in that scene the way it turned out? I mean, how in the world could she be fighting off people and then have time to take a Skype call from Poe, who we didn't even know that she knew? That was so stupid.
That's shoehorning a character in for the sake of cutting a figure to put on The Last Jedi. Action figure card.
I mean, did she really have to be like in battle? Couldn't she have just been, you know, at a watering hole and just talking to Poe Dameron? I mean, that's almost impossible, you know, fighting off people. We don't even know who she was fighting. I guess probably in the book they actually said, but I'm not reading that book.
You know what? Nightwolf says something I thought too when I initially saw this. When I saw the lightsaber flying at first, I thought we were going to see Luke Skywalker. I did too.
Yeah, I did too.
When that lightsaber started flying across the screen and that Force theme was playing, I was like, oh, Luke's about to catch this, and bitches, it's on.
Didn't Luke say he also wanted that?
Yeah.
That would have been epic.
Yeah, it would have been nuts. And he'd have been standing there, you know, in the black robe, and oh God.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think Luke will have a lightsaber in Episode 9? Even as a Force ghost? Because we know they can interact with things in the real world.
No, I'm going.
No. Yeah, I would say no. If they're going to make him a Force ghost, then I don't think he'll have. I don't think we'll see him brandish his lightsaber. I think that
I do have an addendum to that. We will see him use it, but it'll be in a flashback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm just talking about strictly in the present
as the ghost,
as a Force ghost.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So he's going to be relegated to sitting on a log like Obi-Wan in this movie.
Like Kermit the Frog playing a banjo.
Do you guys think Anakin's going to show up? Hayden Christensen Anakin will show up in Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan?
I was thinking that. I was thinking they may bring them all out. They might bring Luke, Anakin, Yoda, and Obi-Wan.
I have a really, really strong feeling about Obi-Wan because Ewan McGregor, he's been around quite a bit. He came in for that one scene for The Force Awakens. He showed up to the Solo premiere. Something is going on. And I think they were actually in contact with him about coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi in a Obi-Wan Kenobi film. And I would love to see him and Hayden Christensen as Force ghosts. I mean, I'm fine with making, Obi-Wan young as a Force ghost.
Yeah.
I think even Luke probably could be younger. That would be how amazing would that be? To see all three of them. Actually, this would be even better, because we heard that the Knights of Ren are coming back from like the Beyond and they're going to be like super bad or something like that. Wouldn't that be amazing to see Luke, Anakin, and Obi-Wan all with lightsabers having to fight the Knights of Ren because the Knights of Ren have become that powerful? I think that'd be amazing.
That'd be pretty nuts.
I think it would be amazing too. But I think what will end up happening is that they will end up possessing Rose Tico and Poe, and they'll actually do the fighting for.
Oh. That almost spit out my water.
Oh. That's how we'll beat them.
And since you brought up Rose Tico, is Rose Tico going to get the Jar Jar Binks treatment in episode 2 and 3? Is she going to be like next to nothing in episode 9?
Oh, in other words, is she going to be on screen for like 3.5 minutes and then that's
exactly?
It?
Yeah.
No.
They're going to give her an expanded role.
I don't know about expanded role. I think what you're going to see is she's like a little tag along.
Well, I will say
she's going to be like an accessory to everybody else, and she'll be like standing, 8 feet behind somebody and whisper one word about every, 42 minutes of the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I should say this. Let me clarify that. If the movie is like 2 hours and 25 minutes, I think this is going to be a long movie. Is she going to get 30 minutes of screen time? Because Jar Jar didn't even get 30 minutes of screen time in episode 2. No, and episode 2 was long.
I think it'd be easier to pair Rose with someone else, which could bolster her screen time, than it would have been for Jar Jar in these next ones, in the other two, right? Because pairing Jar Jar, where would he have fit in Attack of the Clones other than to be the, the assistant, whatever role he played as, in the Senate. Yeah. But Rose, because of, what she is or who she is, she can easily be paired with Finn on a mission or Poe on a mission, and that can add to her screen time. Right. So if they do it that way, I don't see her doing anything by herself. I don't think they'll give her any solo screen, but I think that she will be paired with somebody. And I could be wrong, but
wouldn't it be wild if her character ends up being like good?
Yeah.
like JJ writes something that's actually, because we don't know that. I mean, we don't know if Kelly Marie Tran's worth a damn or not. She may be a great actress.
I've never seen her in anything else.
But look what she had to work with: the dialogue, the writing of the story. I've heard what we're going to see is Poe, Finn, and Rose in some kind of a, where they've put all three of them together on some kind of like a subplot, and that's going to be in the first act, by the way.
Yeah, I think
that's the part where they're on the horses and all that sort of thing.
Yes, she's a support character. I'm not mad at her character if they write it so that it plays to her strengths. I mean, the way that they wrote it didn't make sense for who she was. The way that they presented her to us was that she was somebody who was, introverted and was, felt safer in the docking bay or in the garage working and tinkering on something, and then all of a sudden she became some badass warrior out of nowhere, and then she kissed Finn. Like that was what was weird. It was jarring. If they wrote her character so that it played to her strengths, she's a decent support character. She's not a lead.
Yeah, and they tried to make her take too much of a bigger role in The Last Jedi. Plus, that mission was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It made no sense.
And Rian Johnson had her character deny Finn what could have been an epic moment.
She almost made Finn take the back seat.
Yeah.
And it was it's like, wait a minute.
But you knew that Finn wasn't gonna die no matter what. Because
I actually thought there was a real chance. I literally
didn't think so.
To my wife and I said, "This is it. Finn is going to sacrifice himself, and this is going to be epic." I said, "This is going to be fantastic for his character. This is his purpose in this movie." Because up till then, he had no purpose, remember?
Yeah.
And because the subplot became, not even needed. And then out of nowhere, crash, and I'm like, "Oh, you're fucking kidding me. I cannot believe he did this." And
how does a lightning force fart work, D? How does lightning force? That's pretty funny.
Speaking of Finn, do you think we'll find out who his parents are in episode 9? I mean, that'll be a different kind of subplot, because I think we're gonna get a big reveal with Rey in this movie. It may even be who her parents are, because I think if they leave her parents with nobody thing out there, why even bring up her parents in any of these movies anyway?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I don't get it. It didn't make any sense. And then the reason why Kylo was so concerned with it. If they're nobody, what does he care? What did it matter? It didn't matter to the story at all to mention them at all if they were just going to be nobodies.
Right.
Sebastian says, "I was hoping both of them would have been fried by the death beam." Oh, and can we get some more Death Star technology in another movie?
I don't want to see any other super weapon for a while. They better not have a Death Star 4 in this movie.
It would have been cool, though, if they told the way, because I believe the Starkiller base was supposed to have been made from planet Ilum, which is where the Jedi used to get their lightsaber crystals. So if they used that would have been a cool, little addition to the movie.
Yeah. But I do think we're going to end up seeing the Man of Steel world engines in this movie. What they call for Star Wars, they call them world devastators. I think that's a real thing, because I think they're going to need some kind of weapon.
MacGuffin.
What's that?
Have you read the rumors about that this movie is actually going to be the Resistance and the First Order are chasing everybody's calling it a MacGuffin. They're all chasing some kind of thing of substance, of power. They're both going after it. Somebody described it as, imagine Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indy and the Nazis are all trying to get to the Ark. Well, this MacGuffin is being described as the Ark of this movie. And they're trying to get there, because whoever gets it is going to be the one that wins this whole thing. So I don't know what that's going to be, but yeah, that's getting a ton of steam. I've seen that from 15 sources at this point. I mean, that's happening, whatever that is.
Hey, hold the fort, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
I like what D says. He said Luke may have force swiped himself so he wouldn't remember Rey. I mean, that would have been an interesting an interesting plot twist, you know, as a way to keep her safe.
Like, yeah, exactly. So, you know, what did they say? You know, if you don't know, you don't know. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
When Luke Skywalker was looking at Rey after handing him Anakin's lightsaber, I was waiting for Luke to tell Rey, "I am your father." I would have been okay with something like that, provided it would have been more like the last 1/3 of the movie somewhere. You know,
yeah.
That early on, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong; it would have been light years better than what we got. I mean, when he tossed that lightsaber over his shoulder, I was just like, "What?"
Yeah, but the thing is, I thought that was we were being bamboozled.
Yeah,
I was thinking when he did that, and I said it before. I was thinking he was trying to show her that you know, Jedi are not attached to anything. So when he threw it over his shoulder, the way I interpreted that was him saying, "Listen, I'm not attached to this. Jedi aren't attached. Attachment is leads to the dark side." So that's how I took that when he first did it.
Could have been a good lesson.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, and absolutely. So I was thinking he had anticipated her arrival the whole time, sort of like Yoda. That's the whole way I was seeing him, and then it never came to fruition. Like his change never happened. So each time I was expecting him to say, "All right, let's boogie, let's get to your training." He never said it, and that just kept becoming a disappointment. The more he was on screen, he just kept being this you know, just a disheveled old grumpy man. And I thought at first he was trying to teach her something, just like Yoda did, but sort of opposite way. Like Yoda was jovial and goofy about his, where he was a little bit more grumpy. And, you know, so I was thinking that they were playing with those two dynamics, and then it never came to pass.
Let me ask you a question to kind of segue from episode 9. What do you want to see, Lord, out of an Obi-Wan television series? Event series, they're calling it.
How many series?
That brings me to another question before you answers. Okay. Why does it just have to be an event series? Why just like 6 episodes? Why can't it be like a full 10 episodes?
I think they want some impact out of it.
So basically, they're just going to give us a Obi-Wan trilogy of movies.
They're giving you a trilogy, but a little bit more, you know, spread out.
Yeah.
So
keeping in mind, their original plan was to only do 1 movie.
True.
So we're getting 3 instead of 1 now. So I mean, we did come out kind of winning in that situation, except they made us wait for it.
But where does it sit in the timeline?
It's going to be between Sith and A New Hope.
Okay, so it's unexplored. So I can dig that. If they were going any kind of prequel or anything that I've seen, I didn't necessarily need to see it. You know, I can leave it up to my imagination. But if they're going to dig into that time frame, like you just said, between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, you know, what's that 19 years that they have to work with? Now, Kenobi, the book Kenobi, which I know is no longer canon, but that gave us some of what he did when he was on Tatooine and how he learned that Vader was still alive. Because when he left, he thought Vader died. He learned that, well, according to the book, he learned that Vader was still alive from a news feed,
right,
when he was on Tatooine. So if they're going to dive into that, you know, I don't know. I mean, what can they tell us that he's doing on Tatooine? Because he's there for 19 years.
I don't think he's necessarily going to stay on Tatooine.
I don't think so.
I think in this limited TV series, he's going to face Vader face to face again, because there's still unanswered questions from A New Hope. You know, like Obi-Wan once thought as you did. When last time we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. You know. Also, when we leave Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith, he's thinking Anakin is dead, but he already knows that Vader is more machine than man by the time A New Hope happens. So they meet again. That's what I'm thinking.
He saw Vader though. I know Kenobi's is not canon anymore, but he knows that Vader is who Vader is now without having seen him in person. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I think that time for me, I just think that time frame is I don't know. I don't necessarily need to see that. I can leave that up to imagination. I would like to see more of what maybe more of what Luke was doing during that time frame. Maybe they can add that in, maybe see what he was doing, but I just don't see him leaving Tatooine during those 19 years.
I've heard one of the things we will see will be a young Luke during that whole situation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. There were even rumors that they had cast it, but I don't know that for sure. And the rumor I like is rumblings that George is writing this or wrote it and or may direct it. So I mean that's pretty, that could end up being substantial.
I don't know about George directing it. I think he's been pretty clear that he's pretty much retired.
I don't know. I mean, if he was out scouting location for it, he's involved significantly. If he's scouting location, he's not. He's involved in some way, some real way.
Yeah, he's definitely has to be involved in some way, but directing it, I don't think so. I think George is pretty much done with directing. Think of it. George has only directed what? 4 or 5 movies in his lifetime. No, he directed A New Hope. He directed
and American
Graffiti, THX 1138, A New Hope, the prequels. So that's 6 movies. He hasn't directed anything since Sith.
Surely he's got more credits than that, right?
Not for directing. George doesn't. He doesn't direct. Yeah, he's wrote a lot, but he doesn't direct a lot. George is a little different. George is more into the creative part, outside of directing. But in a way, really, when Empire and Jedi came out, he was pretty much a director on that as well, because they said every time he was on set, everybody was looking at him. Like what
He's
George,
the dom.
do you want to do this? That kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, he had total control over the directors. I mean, he was George Lucas. I'm not saying that Irvin Kershner and Richard Marquand didn't direct the movies, but it's just when George was on set, all eyes were on him for guidance.
He has only directed 6 movies.
Yep, that's what I said.
Yep, good call. Executive producer on a lot.
Yeah, like he made
writer on a lot.
A movie I think that's underrated that George Lucas made was Red Tails. I like that.
Yes.
I really like that movie. That was
a good flick.
Yeah, it was a good flick. I don't think the reviews are really good in it. Terrence Howard was in it.
Even Method Man was in it.
Method Man was in it?
Yeah, Method Man was one of the mechanics.
Yeah. And you can hear a lot of Ben Burtt's sound from Star Wars in that movie too.
Yeah. It was a good flick.
That was a really good movie though.
It let him showcase more of his dog fighting. You know how he loves space battles. Yeah. So
yeah, the dog fighting. If you look at the dog fighting, it was Star Wars dog fighting in that movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was a big fan of that dog fighting, and that reflected in all the Star Wars movies for sure.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of short films.
That's right, Nightwolf.
Yeah, Nightwolf says, didn't George Lucas direct Willow? No, Ron Howard directed Willow.
Yep, he wrote Willow.
Speaking of, I think they're developing a sequel to Willow.
Yep.
and they're going to, you know, get what's the guy's name? Man, my mind's going blank on names today. The guy that played Willow. What's his name?
Yeah, I know. I don't remember his name either.
Yeah,
but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But heard that Val Kilmer wants to come back.
Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dog Show.
Yeah, him coming back and Val Kilmer coming back to do a sequel to that. Now, that's a very underrated movie too. I loved that as a kid, watching Willow. Because I almost look at Willow as like the Lord of the Rings before Lord of the Rings came out in 2000. Because it had very similar tones to each other.
Okay, so very quickly, like as guest, come on, I'm going to ask this question. What are your top 5 favorite movies, Lord?
Oh, man. You should have prepped me for this one, man. I don't know if I can answer. Because off top, I'll just go all Star Wars, and I know it wouldn't really be all Star Wars.
I mean, that's fine.
If I do my top 5 Star Wars, it would be Revenge of the... Yeah. I mean, that's a tough question without being able to think about. Oh, man.
I mean, I really don't have a top 5 in any kind of order. But like Terminator 2 is definitely in there. Shawshank Redemption is in there. And Star Wars, I look at Star Wars as just as a whole. You know, episode 1 through 6 as a whole. It's in there too. So, The Dark Knight, definitely in there.
Yeah. See, I've even got some other ones in there, like, you know, maybe even some 80s clips in there. So when I think of my favorites, they're ones that I can put on repeat and, you know, I can watch 2 or 3 times back to back. So that's why I'd have to think about that, Rhodes. I'm gonna disappoint.
When you come back on, be ready for that one.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you this.
That's tough.
Let me ask you this. Let's get into this part of the show. How about this?
That's a new sound. I don't know who's here.
Your top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Oh, okay. All right. I can tell you right now. I know
Terminator, True Lies, Conan the Barbarian, Commando. Commando. That's where you get the John Matrixx from.
Yeah.
I may watch Commando tonight. So let me see if my wife wants to watch it.
I think I'd have to go Terminator before Terminator 2, though.
Okay.
But I'm pretty much in line with you. Other than, except maybe what's the one where he played the teacher, kindergarten?
Oh, I love Kindergarten Cop. Now, Kindergarten Cop.
Oh man,
I love the goofy side of Arnold.
Kindergarten Cop is like the only like comedy movie that was an action movie. You know, they did a perfect job of blending both of them together. You know, I wouldn't put it in my top 5 of Schwarzenegger movies, but I really love Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, and True Lies. Where'd you put True Lies? Because I think that's either 2 or 3. Because True Lies was
True Lies, maybe Terminator 2, Terminator. True Lies, maybe number 3.
Yeah,
it may be number 3. Then you have Conan the Barbarian, and Commando. Oh, Predator. Man.
Yeah. Now you're talking. That was my number. That's my number 1. Is Predator.
It's so tough to put.
Yeah.
I can't leave Predator out of the top 5, but yet I don't want to drop the other ones out either.
Yeah. I'd go Predator 1, T2 second, 3 Commando, 4 Conan, 5 True Lies.
Why do y'all go T2 over T1? You liked him as the anti-hero? I like
T2 was a better movie. It really was.
It does feel it's a lot bigger in scale for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell
you him as the villain.
I'm going to tell you too. Let's not sleep on how badass Robert Patrick was in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
He was bad.
True. True.
Hey, that's a nice bike.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Night Wolf said
Have you watched
Predator.
Have you watched the director's cut?
Man.
Hey, where does Reg Sonia rank?
Oh, get out of here. No, number one on my Brigitte. Well, no, it won't even make number one on my Brigitte Nelson movie list.
Oh,
Rocky 4.
Oh, Running Man and Judgment. I forgot.
Cobra. She was in
Night
Cobra
Wolf.
with Stallone.
You see, Night Wolf says Predator, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, The Running Man, Commando, and Conan the Barbarian. I completely forgot about The Running Man.
I didn't, but it just couldn't quite crack it. It's one of my favorites, though. I mean, no doubt.
What
Twins,
about Red Heat?
I love Twins. Hell.
Red Heat and Twins are really good.
Yeah.
You guys like Red Heat? Him and Belushi?
That is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays
God,
the Russian.
Arnold was gold there for about
Arnold was the king of the 80s, man.
14 years, man. Was just really.
I mean, he had a heck of a run from basically like 1982 until 1994, because that's when True Lies came out. That's a heck of a run. Then after that, he did, oh God, Batman and Robin was so horrible. He did that. Then he did he made some other movies I think that I like, but they weren't great. Like The Sixth Day. That was okay. What's the movie with him and Gabriel Byrne when he was the devil?
End of Days.
End of Days. I like that one.
Yep. Eraser was good. Dogs.
I would say go to 95. Eraser was really good.
Yeah.
Anything with James Caan is really good too. You know, James Caan was amazing in Godfather. So Arnold's prime was like 82 to 95. And then he started to slip.
Oh my God, Total Recall.
Yeah.
Oh, Total Recall. That's another one that I want in the top 5.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna drop Conan out and move Total Recall up.
You can't drop Conan out.
I can't drop Conan out.
You can't drop Conan.
Not Conan.
Conan the Barbarian. You can't drop that one out.
Man, but
cheesy as it is, when you go back, it's still a classic though.
But seriously,
sometimes I watch it and I'm like,
top 5. Something has to go. We said top 5. Something has to go out of the top 5. As much as I want Total Recall in there.
Yeah, I like some Total Recall. Man, I can't believe I even forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So I'm gonna go like this. Okay. Terminator 2. Let me just name the top 5 then. I forget about the order. Terminator 2, Predator, Commando, Conan the Barbarian.
It's still True Lies. Yeah, still True Lies in there for me.
The other one's got to go. Terminator 1 has to go out. Total Recall has to go out. Erase has to go out. Kindergarten Cop has to go out. Twins has to go out. And hey, even this isn't technically a movie, but it's still really great. I love Pumping Iron.
Oh yeah,
Pumping Iron is great.
Yeah, I was a bodybuilder for about 20 years, so you know I love the hell out of it.
I can never be a bodybuilder, man. I mean, going to the gym 2 times a day, eating 6,000 calories a day, man.
Oh, man. That's all that stuff's overrated. just pound a bunch of protein and watch your carbs and lift a bunch of heavy ass weight.
Yeah, but when you're not lifting, man, you're probably spending time cooking food.
Yeah. I mean, no kidding. There are some I would take Sunday evenings and cook up. I mean, I can't tell you how much chicken I've prepared over the years.
Time out. Dog Show says Hercules, New York. Oh my God, that wasn't even Arnold's voice in that movie. That doesn't even count.
Man, I didn't even think about that. But yeah. I mean, that's not involved in the top list, but
yeah. But you know what?
Okay, so go for it.
Just about Arnold. Actually, when he was being a bodybuilder, he also had a cement company as well, and he was going to school. I mean, he was doing it all like nonstop, man. And he was going to the gym twice a day and eating a lot. I don't see how he did it, man. That guy was a workaholic in the 1970s, man.
And it's crazy because he influenced Mark Hamill, and he influenced even Will Smith. They all give him credit for having conversations with them at some point during their career about becoming a superstar. You hear both of them always give him accolades for that, which is crazy. You never realize how influential he actually was in the behind the scenes, in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's amazing though, because most bodybuilders, once they leave bodybuilding, they don't really do much. I mean, but he said that when they were making Predator, a lot of those guys in Predator were athletes. I mean, Carl Weathers was in it. He said they used to get up in the morning and like go and run like 5 miles. I mean, those guys were in shape. And, and Arnold in Predator, he was actually smaller. He lost weight because they said it wouldn't be believable for him to be this military officer being all jacked, even in Conan the Barbarian, he was actually smaller than what he was because he said he had got so big that he couldn't wield the sword around. So he had to lose weight, and he was still humongous in Conan the Barbarian.
I'm sorry. Are my lats getting in the way of the sword?
Yeah. And that Arnold had that massive V sculpt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He had that bat wing thing going on. Like, that dude was...
Yeah, because a lot of those bodybuilders, they get so big, man, they can't even put their arms down, But he just actually, do like ballet and stuff, work on his flexibility and his balance and everything. So you actually see that in Pumping Iron, where he's actually like doing ballet to help with his posing.
Are either one of you guys Tarantino fans?
Yeah, I love Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I like Fiction and Bill, right? Kill Bill.
I haven't seen Kill Bill.
No,
I haven't seen it.
See it.
I have not seen Kill Bill.
I haven't seen Kill Bill.
Whoa, man, that's going to be a great way to kill 5 hours. There's volume 1 and 2, so
yeah,
that's going to be a good watch. Wow.
I mean,
I can't ask you for your. I can't steal one out of Dog's page and ask you for your top 5 Tarantino movies if you haven't seen Kill Bill. You just qualified.
Actually, what are some Tarantino movies? Because I mean, it's not as easy. It's like like James Cameron.
See, I don't know about that. I know.
See, but Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, they're so similar that you almost get them confused. Where Tarantino is, Robert Rodriguez is right there.
I'll tell you.
From Dusk to Dawn,
I love a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies.
From Dusk to Dawn, that's actually Robert Rodriguez, but it feels like Tarantino.
Yeah. I mean, I like From Dusk Till Dawn. I like it a lot, actually, but
I can't imagine anything topping Pulp Fiction for Tarantino.
I like Reservoir Dogs the best, actually.
I saw it one time, and I can't. I think I'd still put Pulp ahead of it, but it may require more than one watch through, but it's not one that I've seen.
I mean, I've seen all those movies probably 20 times a piece.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't seen that many times, and I just watched it again for maybe the 3rd time, was The Hateful Eight. I watched it again last weekend.
Oh man, that is a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes, The Hateful Eight. And what was crazy, I came up on that one on accident. I think I just had the cable running, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And oh my goodness, I had to go back. I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Night Wolf says Django Unchained. I love that movie.
Yep.
That is a great Tarantino movie. I almost forget that's.
I didn't even realize he did that. So that's why I
forget about it, because you think of it, you more think of Jamie Foxx and Samuel L. Jackson. That may have been Samuel L. Jackson's best role. playing Steven in Django Unchained. I mean, he was amazing in that movie. Samuel Jackson.
I liked him in Hateful Eight too, though.
He was great, but I don't know that I can put anybody ahead of Jules.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just can't. I'm sorry.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but man, have you seen Django Unchained?
Oh yeah.
I mean, him playing Steven, man, it was just it was almost like he just took over. Once Steven came on screen, you're like, all right, this is Samuel Jackson at his best.
What's up, Force Wave?
Force Wave is here. Welcome.
Dog, you are correct. He did write True Romance, one of my favorite movies. Yep. Christian Slater, directed by Tony Scott.
The late Tony Scott.
Yep. There were so many cameos in that movie. It was nutty. Michael Rappaport, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer. Oh, God.
Michael Rappaport still acting?
Walking.
Is Michael Rappaport still acting? Because he's like on Undisputed almost every day, it seems.
He was just beefing with somebody.
Or something.
With Skip Bayless?
No, he was just in the news beefing with somebody. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, because he's on Undisputed like all the time. So I'm like, man, how do you have time to be on Undisputed this much? Are you even working anymore?
He just made a hip hop documentary, I think, if I remember right. He is way in tune with like old school East Coast, like Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's from New York. Yeah.
I mean, he's highly respected up there.
All right, Dog Show says he's got to run, folks. Have a good night. Thanks for the stream. Welcome as always,
Good
Dog.
night.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the Dog Show if you haven't. Man, I know it. Since we're here right now, we're going to be wrapping up this show. We have to talk about this Jesse Smollett thing.
Oh,
I need to get you guys' thoughts on this because I know this is kind of kind of left field. I mean, I actually only saw one episode of Empire, but Jesse Smollett, if you've been living under a rock, Jesse Smollett has been indicted for making false reports to the police. He said that he was attacked by two Trump supporters outside of a subway, well, somewhere around a subway, during a polar vortex in Chicago. And they hit him and they put a noose around him. And they said, this is MAGA country. And then they ran off. So his story didn't really become believable. And comes to find out that the two guys that attacked him were two Nigerians, black Nigerians. And they said that Jesse Smollett paid them $3,500. And now he has been removed from like the final 5 episodes of Empire for the rest of the season. So what are you guys' thoughts?
It's crazy, John. I mean, it's just crazy. The other thing that I heard was that he was supposed to have paid them $4,000, but gave them $3,500 up front. Like what is that? Who does that? I mean, the whole thing is just it just makes my head hurt, man.
And you got the brothers actually on tape in a store buying the ski mask and a rope. So his denial is not sticking. I mean, I've watched. I mean, he's pretty much becoming a man with no country. I mean, he's a left-leaning Democrat, and there's people running for president that's actually supported him, and now they're like backing off. You know,
hey, let me clarify. I'm a left-leaning Democrat.
So am I too.
He is something else.
Yeah.
Left-leaning Democrats don't do what he just did.
It wasn't political. What he did.
He's on another level of nutty.
I think he was sort of using that as a means. I mean, the last I heard, he was trying to get more money from the show. So he was just playing on the already crazy, climate that we have in America right now. So, but I don't think that it was. It's hard to say that it wasn't politically charged, because he ended up blaming, the right for the actions. But what he did, or his purpose, wasn't political. But he just, that's why it just makes my head hurt, man.
But
I can't even articulate
where it fell out, and I was actually talking to my mom about this in the car. And once they said, this is MAGA country. Okay, you're in Chicago. In a polar vortex at 2 a.m. And these people just magically have bleach and a noose waiting for you. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and
nobody walks around with bleach on.
I watched an interview the other day with Joe
Except
Budden,
on Halloween.
With Joe Budden, and Joe Budden was like, I don't know a single African American that would have walked around with a noose around his neck for 45 minutes without taking the son of a bitch off.
Exactly. That's another thing that didn't make any sense. He didn't take
When I heard that, I mean, I was like, what?
I mean, for one thing, I said, man, if you wanted it to actually be somewhat believable, why don't you hire 2 white guys? Once we saw there were a couple of brothers that got arrested, we were like, all right, it's over now.
What? This don't even make any damn sense, bro.
And then they were Nigerians at that.
And then they went back to Nigeria, right? They took the 3,500 and went back to Nigeria. And then he was supposed to give them the other 500 when they came back. What? Who does that? Maybe I give you the 500 now and the 3,500 later. It's not the opposite. It doesn't go the opposite way.
Rondo says the only person to scam Nigerians.
he found them through the email they sent him in his spam, and emailed them back and was like, hey, I've got a job opportunity for you. That's so jacked up.
Crazy.
Here's the thing, man. That's why actors have agents. You want more money, you tell your agent you want more money, then they go to the company. And then at that, this is something we haven't talked about either. I don't know if he did that or not. So they said our letter was actually sent to the studio, a racist letter and everything like that. Geared towards Jesse Smollett. Now the police are saying he made that up too. Because they said he made it up too. And when it didn't get enough media attention and traction, that's when he got the brothers in to stage that attack.
Yep. And all for the purpose of him trying to, rather than negotiate, but all for the purpose of him trying to gain attention, so that it bolstered his career, so he had more clout, so that he could ask for more money from the producers. It's just crazy, man. It's like, just like you said, you have an agent for that. Just go to your agent, say, hey, listen, negotiate more money. Don't go commit a stupid criminal act.
Yeah, and he gets $65,000 per episode, and he's a side character. So he's making like $1.2 million per season on this show. Plus, he has, he's a singer. He can sing. He does other stuff too. So he's single. I mean, he's making some money. I get if you want to get paid. I think we all want more money at our jobs.
Shame on that dude for making it just that much harder for people that have to actually go through some kind of a hate crime.
Exactly, and that's what the police chief said.
On that dude.
I mean, he's really a man without a country now. I mean, now the Democrats that were like supporting him and everything because what was her name? Kamala Harris said it was a modern day lynching. Well, that doesn't look too good now, does it? So
once again, that's your social justice warrior side of the Democrats.
Well, yeah,
I know
well,
Democrats. They don't think that way. I
most
can tell you
Democrats
that.
I know don't think like that. I mean, most Democrats I know aren't SJWs. I mean,
Exactly.
he's an SJW though.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, without a doubt.
Now he's alienated them. He's alienated the LGBTQ community. I mean, the right really wasn't on his side anyway. So, what's next for this guy? I mean, if he does any jail time, it'll probably be a year. So, where does he go?
Yeah, I think he'll beat that. Because doesn't he have some sort of background? Doesn't he come from entertainment family?
His sister was on Underground. I love that show.
Yeah,
But,
I think he'll beat it.
I don't know, because I don't know. The reason why is because in 2007, he lied to police also. He impersonated his brother. So he gave a false report then.
So he's just stupid.
Yeah. So they said that from what I've heard, he can do anywhere from 1 to 10 years in prison based on this. How hard, the prosecution wants to take this. But I mean, they wasted a lot of man.
I mean, I could still see him getting something like probation or something.
Yeah, I think they'll smack his hand because they got. You saw they have R. Kelly now on 10 counts.
Yeah, that's about 20. That's about 27 years too late.
10 counts, and they issued the warrant without bail. So
really,
yeah.
Oh, hey, what were
bringing up
news topics?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Robert Kraft.
Yeah, I saw that today, man. Yeah, that's even less. I looked at that. In case you don't know, Robert Kraft owns the New England Patriots, the football team, the world champions.
Oh yeah.
And he was busted in a prostitution sting in was it Jupiter, Florida? I think
somewhere down in there.
Yeah, somewhere down there. And I don't think he was arrested or anything, but he's been charged with soliciting a prostitute. He's denied it, and it was one of these one of these massage parlors. That's a cover up, and they said it was a bunch of like Chinese women that were probably sold into sex slavery from China. And
well, there's a second charge they got him on, and the second charge is the one that's ugly. They charged him on human trafficking.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
That's the big one then.
That's the ugly one. Yeah.
I got to look at that. I did not hear about
nuts. That. Yep. Human trafficking and solicitation or something.
Okay. I just went on.
I thought that was wild.
ESPN just says misdemeanor solicitation of prostitution. Where'd you find that at?
Unless they decide to drop it. My wife was reading it to me earlier, and multiple times it brought up human trafficking. In fact, it was
if he was human trafficking, that means he's a pimp then.
They actually nailed him as part of a human trafficking.
It was a sting operation going on.
Sting operation, yeah. But he had been charged, unless they have dropped the human trafficking charge. He had been charged with both. I don't know about what time is it? 7. So somewhere around 3:00. Right after we got home, in fact, she was like, "Oh, listen to this," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Everybody's lost their minds."
That's crazy.
I'm only seeing solicitation.
Well, maybe they bounced one of them charges.
It could be. I mean, the trafficking, that means he was like bit time then.
Yeah, he was part of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the trafficking part that he had been charged with, that was the real like story there. Let me see. I am on Pro Football Talk, but I don't know if maybe they've brought back that. No, they charged with. They just said he was part of a. Oh, here it is. Soliciting another to commit prostitution. So that's all. I guess they walked that maybe.
Yeah, just one charge.
Yeah. So Well, that's still not great.
No, it's not. Not good.
But it's a damn sight better than human trafficking, okay?
Yeah, but I mean, they said the most he could do that is actually like it's a misdemeanor, so it's like 30 days in jail, maybe, or like probation, 60 days. It's like so minor. It's almost nothing. Chances are,
Right.
if anything, he probably just exchanged money, and that's it. That's enough.
Yeah, he'll beat it.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll beat it, but Roger Goodell will probably end up, dropping like 6-game suspension or something on him and fining him. That's about all you can do with an owner.
Yeah,
not much you can do with an owner. I mean, what's a suspension to an owner? That didn't mean anything.
Right.
Plus his son runs a lot of the Patriots anyway. So, but anyway, that's all we have for you tonight. Any final thoughts before we get off of here?
I have none, actually. I'm listening to some thunder roll in the background here, and I'm thinking, man, I've got to get my dogs down.
Yeah. Oh. Well, all right, Lord Callis, you got anything?
I'm good. I know I don't want to spark up because if I start talking, I'll start another conversation.
Yeah. Well, we really thank you for joining us today on the show.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
We'll try to get somebody else on next Friday's show. I love doing these shows. These shows are so much fun.
Yeah,
they're a blast.
Yeah,
they're good
time. Really are.
And Lord Callis, be on the lookout because I probably have a weekly show that may start next week.
All right.
So I may email you about that to get you on that show. So
sounds good. Anything for the community.
And be on the lookout for my podcast. I have a podcast coming.
Rock on.
It's gonna be fun.
Do it.
It's gonna be fun. So guys, we're gonna get out of here. Enjoyed having you guys on the show.
Appreciate you. Thank you both.
You folks have a wonderful, wonderful evening.